The incomplete monument of eternity. Resting upon its side lies a vast monolith of stone, an immense creation that was never brought to completion, yet it stands as one of the most revealing glimpses into the skill, ambition, and genius of the ancient Egyptian world. Its colossal mass, which would have exceeded 1,200 tons if fully carved, remains fixed in the very place where craftsmen began their incredible labor thousands of years ago, serving as both a tribute to human brilliance and a reminder of the unpredictable nature of stone. The air surrounding the site is dry and heavy, with the scent of dust. Sunlight cuts deep shadows across the fractured surface of the monument, exaggerating its rugged outlines and emphasizing its overwhelming size. This incomplete giant is not merely a damaged relic, it is a frozen chapter of history carved directly into the bedrock. It showcases the remarkable precision and mastery of the artisans who shaped it. Grooves and channels trace every effort of cutting and chiseling, exposing the meticulous process of shaping and separating such a massive block from its cradle in the earth. Yet midway through this grand endeavor, the stone split. A deep crack tore through the granite, halting the entire operation. Whether caused by a natural imperfection in the rock, a miscalculation in technique, or the intense strain of the extraction process remains unknown. Why did the builders abandon it instead of starting anew, and what circumstances forced them to leave this masterpiece unfinished? The mystery endures just as powerfully as the monument itself. Believed to date back to around 1450 BC, during the reign of Queen Hatshepsut, this structure was meant to surpass every obelisk before it, reaching heights that no monument had ever achieved. The ancient Egyptians saw obelisks not merely as architectural wonders but as sacred symbols connected to the sun god Ra, bridging the earthly realm with the divine. Had it been completed, this unfinished monument would have embodied both immense physical majesty and profound spiritual significance. Standing before it, one cannot help but question whether the ambition behind it was purely structural, or if it held deeper purposes, perhaps aligned with celestial patterns or resonating with natural forces that are now lost to time. Craftsmanship evident upon the stone is astounding. Faint marks reveal the tools and methods used: copper chisels, wooden wedges, and the careful application of water to fracture the granite. When completed, it would have demanded an extraordinary system to transport and raise it without the help of cranes or iron devices. Scholars have speculated about ramps, sledges, and immense human effort, yet the true process remains largely uncertain. How could a civilization without modern machinery conceive the movement of a single stone weighing over 1,000 tons? Did they possess knowledge long forgotten, allowing them to manipulate force and balance in ways that surpass modern understanding? This unfinished monument holds unmatched importance, for unlike the finished obelisks proudly erected in temples across Egypt, this one provides a transparent view into the ancient process. From its rough chisel marks to its smooth surfaces, every stage of labor remains visible. It is as if a workshop was preserved in time, granting rare insight into it otherwise perfectionist culture that seldom left visible traces of failure or experimentation. Despite its incomplete state, it radiates power, intention, and artistry. It reveals the perseverance of those who dared to challenge the boundaries of both material and possibility. Speculation naturally stretches beyond technique into meaning. Was the fracture simply a technical mishap, or could it have carried spiritual weight, perhaps even viewed as a divine warning? In Egypt, stone was sacred, imbued with spiritual energy and divine essence. Could the abandonment of this monument reflect not only a structural failure but a deliberate choice guided by ritual reverence or cosmic interpretation? Standing beside the unfinished monument, one feels an overwhelming sense of wonder and contemplation. Its enormous presence rests in perfect stillness, as if time itself had stopped holding the precise moment when human ambition collided with natural limitation. Every line and mark upon its surface whispers of a civilization that understood both the physical and metaphysical power of creation, yet the unanswered mysteries outweigh what has been revealed. What ancient knowledge of construction, spirituality, and cosmic alignment remains encoded within this massive block of granite? How might its completion have reshaped our perception of Egyptian engineering and spiritual thought? The unfinished monument endures as a symbol of eternal curiosity. Its jagged edges and incomplete form are not signs of defeat but expressions of aspiration. It stands as proof that even unfulfilled dreams carry the essence of greatness. It reminds us that humanity's desire to build, to reach toward the heavens, and to leave an indelible mark upon the earth never fades. If we could uncover the full truth behind this extraordinary stone, we might not only understand ancient Egypt more deeply but rediscover something timeless within ourselves, a dialogue between past and present, still echoing across the ages, daring us to imagine what lies beyond the limits of the possible. The endless line beneath the desert sky. As the winds drift across the rugged wilderness of southern Jordan, they carry faint echoes of something vast, ancient, and nearly forgotten, a faint scar upon the earth stretching endlessly across the barren land. Beneath the burning sun, the Khatchabib wall weaves a delicate path through the desert, its broken stones tracing the horizon for almost 90 miles. Unlike the mighty fortifications of Rome or the towering Great Wall of China, this structure is humble, subtle, almost invisible. For generations it remained unnoticed, hidden in plain sight. Only from the view of the sky through aerial images and satellite photographs does it appear as a wavering thread etched across valleys and rocky plains. It rises barely to a man's waist. Built from rough local stones without the use of mortar, much of its height has been eroded by centuries of wind and time, yet its direction remains remarkably clear, following a mysterious course as if guided by a forgotten purpose known only to its builders. That purpose, however, remains one of the oldest unsolved mysteries in the region. The wall first came to modern attention in 1948 when British diplomat Sir Alec Kirkbride spotted it while flying over Jordan. Since then, scholars and archaeologists have debated its meaning, stretching from near the southern edges of the Dead Sea to the Mahan Plateau. The wall passes through some of the harshest, most sparsely populated regions of the land. Why would anyone labor to build a wall here across empty desert where few could live and no army could march? Some suggest it was a territorial boundary marking tribal lands or separating nomadic groups that once competed for limited water sources. Others believe it may have served to guide travelers, herders, or trade caravans across the unforgiving terrain. Still, none of these ideas fully explain the enormous effort behind its construction. Radiocarbon testing and ceramic fragments indicate that parts of the wall may date back as far as the first millennium BC, though additions and repairs were likely made over the centuries. Along its course, archaeologists have discovered small towers and stone enclosures, some circular, others rectangular, suggesting that it once held stations of observation or watchfulness, perhaps even posts for guardians who oversaw something now lost to time. Yet the desert reveals few answers. There are no remains of cities, forts, or permanent settlements at either end of the wall. Unlike defensive structures designed to enclose or protect, the Khat Shabib encloses nothing. It stretches freely across the wilderness, fading into the horizon. Could it have once connected a chain of oases now buried beneath the sands, or might it have been aligned with celestial patterns serving a ritual or astronomical function? As seen in other ancient monuments across the world,
certain stretches of the wall appear to run parallel to ancient trade routes that linked Arabia with Palestine and distant lands. If this was intentional, the wall could have acted as a kind of frontier, marking the limits of influence of a forgotten kingdom, perhaps even serving as an early customs boundary. Still, this explanation leaves gaps for the labor and coordination required to construct such a line of stone through desolation points.
To an organized and capable society with leadership, vision, and manpower, some modern thinkers propose more unconventional theories. They argue that the wall may not have been meant for defense or division at all, but rather for direction and ceremony. Perhaps it functioned as a processional path or a spiritual route used for rituals or pilgrimages that have long since faded from human memory. Others imagine that it may belong to a civilization older than any known in the region, the remains of a protoculture existing before the rise of kingdoms in Arabia and the Levant. There are even theories that the wall had an environmental or agricultural function, perhaps a means of managing livestock or redirecting seasonal floodwaters, a forgotten adaptation to the unpredictable desert climate. Whatever its true origin or function, the Khat Shabib stands as a profound reminder of the vast unwritten chapters of human history. Beneath the sands of the Arabian desert lie traces of lives and labors almost erased by time, yet not entirely gone. The wall still endures, its faint lines visible to those who look closely, whispering across millennia of silence. As the sun sets over the stony plains, the wall catches the dying light, casting elongated shadows that stretch like ancient memories across the desert floor. There is quiet strength in its endurance, a lingering presence that refuses to fade. Was this the edge of an empire, the road of pilgrims, or the silent marker of something far older, something the desert itself has chosen to conceal? Whatever truth lies buried beneath the sands, the Khat Shabib continues to extend across the land mile after mile, its purpose veiled in mystery, its message lost in time. Perhaps somewhere along its forgotten length, the answer still waits patiently to be found.